Welcome to the GPLama YouTube channel. Now, as the sun starts to shine again in the Northern Hemisphere and things get a little bit warmer outdoors, in recent weeks Zwift have released a few updates that just might keep you spinning indoors a little bit longer. So today's video, a quick wrap of recent updates before getting into a spin of what's new in today's release 1.85. Okay, a few weeks back, 1.82 update for Zwift. It was for Windows and macOS users, where it's now easier to exit Zwift with a keyboard or with the Zwift Play controllers, or the ride controllers as well. On the home screen, just press the escape key on the keyboard, or you can press the B button on the Zwift Play or Zwift Ride to see that exit prompt. Jumping ahead to game update version 1.83, this one was for Android and Mac OS systems. They got some graphical detail improvements, assuming the devices were of a certain specification to be able to run those updates. According to some, going from potato to gourmet potato graphics in Zwift. I'd still like to see an update to the recent version Apple TV devices to get a bit of a boost in those systems as well. Game update version 1.84 gave us 5 new routes and 1 route switching from event only to free ride, which is good news for route badge hunters. The best place to find new routes you are yet to complete is within the companion app using My List, where you filter by all uncompleted routes and then just adding the next route, so it will appear on your home screen in Zwift next time you load the game. Sometimes there's a bit of a delay between the new routes being added with these Zwift updates and them appearing in the companion app, but it's usually only a few days or so. Something that also appeared in 1.84 was the ability to change the elevation display sensitivity. Yes, that HUD in-game that pops up when there's a climb. Let's have a close look at what that does.
I don't think a lot of people would consider this slight rise out of downtown Wildtopia a climb. However, it is displayed by default in the climb profile. So you can change that by going to Settings, HUD, scrolling down to Center Display, and changing the elevation display sensitivity. Switching that to low, it will remove that as a Climb Pro style climb popping up in the HUD there, and that will remain only for steeper, longer climbs, such as the Volcano or Ventoux or any of the longer things that we'd all consider climbs. Anyhow, that's pretty much what this setting does. I do like it on, however, because I love to see what's coming up in the next 800 meters or so. When I'm on Zwift, you know when to kick, you know when you can rest. For me, it's about having usable information on screen, and I do think even showing those lower climbs is very handy.
And finally in 1.84, the Z1 concept bike, aka the Tron bike, lets you sit more upright when you're not pedaling. Zwift state here because your backs aren't as flexible as they used to be. I think there's more to it than just this Tron stance, so stay tuned on that one. Alright, that brings us to 1.85, today's new update release. Again, phased rollout. If you don't see it yet, give it a few moments or a day or two. I think it's Apple TV and iOS. Get it about 24 hours later, so should be about now when this video goes out. So the big news is the 4th challenge finally arrives after 10 years, which is interesting because that's about how long it's going to take to fully unlock this one. They're calling it the Factory Tour, available for riders at level 40 or above. Let's have a look at the details now.
Now, truth be told, I thought Zwift would remove these altogether rather than add another challenge because they're kind of a legacy thing before Zwift had events. However, here we are. The 4th challenge now exists. Access via the legacy menus. I'll show you that in just a few moments. With the Factory Tour to select, once we click on that, I've done exactly 0.0 power units towards that goal. Okay, clicking on OK for that. A quick refresher of how to get to the challenges in-game. It's menu and challenges on screen. As you can see me wiggling the mouse and clicking on challenges. Your progress can also be seen from the home screen. Factory Tour listed under challenges, which you can click on and gives us indication that I've done absolutely none of this to date. Jumping over to the Zwift forums to have a look at the full details of the new Factory Tour. Little explanation there, which we've already gone through, how it all works. The challenge breakdown. Right, here's what the detail is all about. You need to accumulate a total of 250 power units, or what they're calling watt hours per kilogram. Per kilogram across all of your rides to complete the first part of the challenge. So it's a 2-part challenge. Unlock for completion. Once you hit the required per kilograms, you unlock the lightning socks. Let the sparks fly. There's the details of the lightning socks, what they look like. And I believe they light up in a few different ways depending on the watts per kilo that you're outputting. Extra credit. This is interesting. That's not all. After completing the initial portion of the challenge, you will encounter an extra credit section where your completion percentage will drop back down to 29%. To complete the full Factory Tour, you'll need to produce an additional 600 power units. So to complete this entire challenge, that's 850 power units. And that gets you the final unlock, the Aero Electric Socks, These socks aren't just for looks, they come with a CDA reduction. Not really pay to play, it's, I guess, grind to play for the advantage for these socks. But as I said, it's going to take literally years. Even Zwift acknowledged that. The Factory Tour is no quick ride. A challenge will take time, months, or even years, depending on your training, etc., etc. Anyhow, we'll drop down to the FAQ. Just here, Factory Tour unlocks level 40. We know this bit. Watts per hour. So here's an example of the explanation of what the watts per hour is all about. If you average 195 watts over an hour and you weigh 65 kilos, your watt hour per kilo is 3. So you get 3 towards that initial 250 and then continuing on to the additional 600 that you need to unlock the whole thing. There we go, 850 for the entire one. Here's some interesting caps they've put on this challenge. Earning rate is capped at a maximum of 4 power units per hour for a maximum of 15 power units per activity. Now, Eric from Zwift Insider and I did some quick math. Well, actually, I came up with the idea and Eric ran the quick math instantly. If you were to do the PRL full, which is one of the longest or the longest route on Zwift, Eric's estimate for what he did it in would only result in 13.5 power units. So what I was worried about is the power units being neutered or nerfed if you're going for a very, very long ride. So that's not really the case. 15's pretty generous. Also stops people from gaming the system with a bot, because I guarantee that's going to happen. If you get the cone of shame, your progress will not count towards the challenge. How long will the challenge take to complete? Well, how long is a piece of string? There's a few additional things here they answer about this new challenge. I'll link to this particular FAQ in the video description.
Okay, so if you're level 40 and you already have the Tron bike, then make sure that challenge is selected and get grinding away. Finally today, a new route badge added. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce that route badge. 31.5 Ks, around 350 meters of climbing. A good one to knock out on a lazy Sunday afternoon. And finally today, the Big Spin has returned on Zwift for 2025. Oh yes, that gambling game that's not quite gambling, but it kind of is, returns. It's on the half hour every hour, so watch for that. It's not on the hour these events start, and late join is up to 30 minutes after the event has started. Let's look at the details and if we can game stage 1 to get multiple spins.
Okay, the Big Spin, active from March 3rd through April 7th. Ride, spin, win. It's as easy as that. You complete the event, and at the end, you get a prize wheel that spins, and you win something. Now, what are those somethings? Well, spin through the decades, guaranteed to win. So yes, you'll get something at the end. And what have we got here? We've got the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, and the new millennium. Obviously, the best music comes from the 80s. That's not what's on the schedule at the moment, though. We're still stuck in the 70s. And the hero unlocks this year the BMX, the headphones, the skater helmet, looks like a Protec helmet, and the different coloured tri-spoken disc. I think the hero unlock there is definitely the BMX bike. There's an FAQ over on the Zwift website that I'll link to. But I guess the question a lot of people will have is just how far can we game the system to get multiple spins in the hour? If you remember last year, we had a ton of fun on London, sometimes only having to ride 200 metres to get a spin and an unlock. Let's have a look at how I've gone so far on stage 1. Okay, on to my first attempt at the Big Spin 2025 with a late join with 20 seconds to go. And it did come up with this error message here, which sometimes will kick you out of the event or won't join you or do something kind of weird. However, this did let me continue on. So I had only 6 kilometers to go because it put me right on top of Box Hill. That was pretty good. So riding through here, and of course there is always some banter about those late joiners joining. You can see who's got low kilometers as well. Always some banter about who's cheating the system. Anyhow, what did I get on my first spin? They take a little while to come up. 6.1 Ks, just under 8 minutes for this one. And up comes the spin wheel. And I get just the cap. Okay, a few seconds later, it will pop up with the unlock that I got and then give me the little lower third banner indicating exactly what I've got, and that be the groovy bucket hat. Not quite the bike I was looking for. Okay, spin number 2. Again with a full ride this time. lands on the cap or the hat or the little icon there, which I thought was the same prize. See? Looks like a cap. Aha! Wait for the lower third. It tells me that I've won the headphones. Now, after a few more attempts, with one actually dumping me on the descent that I didn't record, that was an absolute win, I joined again today and employed some more shady tactics to get further up the road. So here we're not quite at the top, so I've got pedal assist if I don't turn the pedals in the first 10 seconds, which then extends out to another 50 seconds right here. So I get a whole 60 seconds of effectively the same deal as a coffee break. So we'll let that run through, and then I'll activate my coffee break. Oh, this is all about being shady. It's all about the spins. Okay, with the coffee break activated and quite a number of people getting quite chatty in the chat, we had a bit of fun on the way down, and it's a good crew, and this is what it's all about. The community going into battle, for those of us who like to game this system. We had some fun, but all joking aside, it's all about those prizes. And what did I get for this ride? Well, let's jump ahead. Get that wheel spinning, and I win the bike. I got the BMX. Okay, we'll wait for the little pop-up prompt to show us. Yep, bike unlocked. And the lower third showing us that I am now able to ride the BMX Bandit bike, dialed in for your gnarliest rides. Dude! Fantastic. Okay, let's switch to that bike and have a look. Oh, that is absolutely hideous. Fantastic. All right, now we don't have any data yet at all on how fast or slow this bike is, but I think it looks pretty cool. And I guess it's my bike of choice for the next week or so, maybe even a little longer.
And before I go today, those more serious about racing their bikes indoors, the Zwift Games is now underway for 2025. Now, if you do enter any of those races, there's no excuse that it's not a race. They're definitely races. And oh my God, they can get hard to do. Anyhow, full details over on the Zwift website. I'll put links below to both all the details you've seen here, plus our good friends over at Zwift Insider. And with that, we'll leave it there. As always, thumbs, subscribes, do all the things, and we'll see you out there on the Big Spin course soon.